My name is Scott Garibay. In 1983, I bought Dungeons and Dragons. I owned Dungeons and Dragons. I read Dungeons and Dragons. I ran Dungeons and Dragons, and I watched Dungeons and Dragons. And in 1983, under the Satanic Panic, a group of persecutors rose up and said, "It is wrong for you to buy Dungeons and Dragons, own Dungeons and Dragons, read Dungeons and Dragons, run Dungeons and Dragons, and watch Dungeons and Dragons." And they rallied under the cry of D&D be gone. And they wanted Dungeons and Dragons gone from this earth. They wanted to wipe it into memory. They wanted to wipe it beyond memory. They wanted D&D be gone. And those persecutors who rallied under the Satanic Panic told others, it is wrong to buy Dungeons and Dragons, wrong to own Dungeons and Dragons, wrong to read Dungeons and Dragons, wrong to run Dungeons and Dragons, and wrong to watch Dungeons and Dragons. In 2023, I buy Dungeons and Dragons, I own Dungeons and Dragons, I read Dungeons and Dragons, I run Dungeons and Dragons, and I watch Dungeons and Dragons. And under the manic panic of 2023, a group of persecutors has arisen, and they rally under the cry of D&D be gone, and they want D&D. They want exactly what they're saying. They want Dungeons and Dragons gone, so that it is not even a memory anymore. And now, a new group of persecutors are coming and telling me it is wrong to buy Dungeons and Dragons. It is wrong to own Dungeons and Dragons. It is wrong to read Dungeons and Dragons. It is wrong to run Dungeons and Dragons. And it is wrong to watch Dungeons and Dragons. Nothing has changed but the year. If you love Dungeons and Dragons, you were under persecution in 1983. If you love Dungeons and Dragons, you will be under persecution in 2023. In 1983, they said, no, D&D is not correct. You should read C.S. Lewis, The Chronicles of Narnia. In 2023, they say, no, D&D is wrong. You should read Jason Bullman, The Chronicles of Galarian. Nothing has changed but the year. Zealots coming and telling you it is wrong to buy Dungeons and Dragons, to own Dungeons and Dragons, to read Dungeons and Dragons, to run Dungeons and Dragons, to watch Dungeons and Dragons. There is a banner for the persecutors. There's a remnant, you and me. There are a few left who still are willing to say, Dungeons and Dragons forever. I will never let Dungeons and Dragons be gone. I will not, even under fear, go under the banner of the persecutor. Under conformity, I will not go under the banner of the persecutor. I will remain, even if it means I am persecuted for running, owning, reading, buying, watching Dungeons and Dragons. In 1983, they gathered those who loved Dungeons and Dragons, and they said, throw your books into the flames of our congregation. Today, they gather those who love Dungeons and Dragons and say, throw your books into these flames of cancellation. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I'm willing to be persecuted for it. I will never join under the banner of the persecutor. I understand this is not the first time for me. I've seen persecutors come. I've seen groups of people rise up and tell me it is wrong to buy Dungeons and Dragons, wrong to own Dungeons and Dragons, wrong to read Dungeons and Dragons, wrong to run Dungeons and Dragons, wrong to watch Dungeons and Dragons. I saw it in 1983. I am not shocked as I see the same thing happening. Those gathering under the banner of persecutor and making those who love Dungeons and Dragons the persecuted. I want you to know, if you love Dungeons and Dragons, you are not alone. I would like to tell you not to be frightened, but I will tell you now, the Satanic Panic, there were real challenges for many of those who love D&D. And I think there's going to be real challenges in 2023. The day of being able to simply invite somebody to your Dungeons and Dragons game and not expect judgment, not expect persecution, not expect a call for you to throw your books into the flames of cancellation. We don't know we don't know when that's going to return, when we will be able to lift our heads high and not be under what the persecutors bring for us. It is a challenging time, but this is the message I want you to know. If you love Dungeons & Dragons, you are not alone. And the Dungeons & Dragons community has been under persecution before. Nothing has changed. The same zealots that came in 1983, it's the same, it's different people, but the zealotry and the pointing at you and saying you are wrong for buying and owning and reading and running and watching Dungeons & Dragons is exactly the same. Judgment, contempt, exclusion, division. The people are different. The year is different. The energy is the same. And the choice is the same. Just as in 1983, you had a choice to be under the banner of the persecutor or the banner of the persecuted, you have that same choice today. You are not alone.